moving on to healthcare reform. I think everyone's heard of it by now, right?
Yeah. What is healthcare reform?
Yeah,
Yes.
we've talked about it a little bit, but certainly it really picked up steam as we saw in October, for good, for bad, somewhere in the middle it kind of landed. Overall thoughts?
I have a lot of them. How much time do we have?
Much time as you need, of course.
When we talk about overall thoughts, in the beginning there were hurdles. Very cumbersome. The healthcare.gov site was not functioning appropriately until about the second week in December.
Right.
So really all of October, November, if you were trying to enroll and trying to get subsidized and get all of your ducks in a row, you were beating your head against the wall, so to speak. So it was very disheartening to a lot of people. You heard it in the news. There was a lot of negativity out there as far as it's any opportunity for them to bash the quote unquote Obamacare,
right,
and really take advantage of just beating it into the ground and all the negativities. Really, it helped because nobody could enroll, so it was easy for them to get negative comments. As we've progressed, now it's very easy. So we've seen a huge upswing in enrollments. We have, at this point in time, enrolled about close to 10,000 people in an Affordable Care Act program, many with subsidies. About 80% of all the folks that we have enrolled have access to subsidy from the federal government. So it's working, and it helps a lot of people. And it's really nice to finally be able to say to someone who's diabetic or smoking or having major health conditions that there is help for you, and we can get you insured and we can take care of you, where before that wasn't an option. It boils my blood to hear all of the negativity that's out there, depending on what news channel you watch, depending on who you're listening to, what political spin that they've got on it. They have all kinds of motives to beat it into the ground. Right. It's helping a lot of people. It's also hurting a lot of people as well. We're going to probably talk a little bit about small business owners at some point today, and that's something that we need to address. But large upswing in enrollments. There were a lot of flexibility for people who had plans. There was some negative press out there about 300,000 people in Florida losing their plans.
Policies.
That's completely inaccurate. Everyone was able to keep their programs, and now we're really dealing with the spins of the group people. And if you spend any time on Facebook or any social media sites, you're going to see all of the negatives of an interview with someone who's at a business and their rates are going up and these people's rates are, it's really just a lot of hoopla. There are, again, a lot of people that this program is helping and changing their life. And there are a lot of people that it's not. And that's, again, identifying, talking to people, getting to feel what's going on, and making sure we access the appropriate programs for that. So.
Let's move on then to, I think it's important, we've been discussing recently quite a bit about small group, the big changes that are getting ready to happen in terms of what we're going to be able to offer and the help we're going to be able to provide to small businesses. Just the basics, what size companies are we talking about that we can really help right now?
Well, we should probably take 2 steps back from that, because about a week ago, the government announced that they are going to be delaying the group mandate or the employer mandate another year. They're also talking about changing the size of the group that this is going to be affecting. So, as everyone may or may not know at this point, we're at 50 or under for a small group. So, the administration and the political parties are trying to make sure that changes. They're really pushing for that. But they have to communicate with the insurance companies and the regulatory bodies, and it's just very easy for the president or the politics to really say, oh, this is what we want to do, and this is how we're going to do it. But there are a lot of moving pieces, and I think that the political parties that are at hand are realizing that, and they have to work with Florida Blue, companies like Florida Blue, in order to solve the problems. And we have to deliver on what the politicians say was going to happen.
They're making the promises.
Correct. And so that's something that we are working with. However, we are and have identified that the small business owner is going to get beat up. When we talk about the qualified health plans with essential health benefits that have to be added, those policies now are costing more money. Now, why do they cost more money? They cost more money because they have more benefits.
Way more.
Way more benefits. Lower deductibles, less out-of-pocket expenses in many cases. But the core benefits that are built into the policy are what effectively are raising the price.
We're talking about really the 10 essential health benefits.
10 essential health benefits, mental health costs, and then we're also talking about how the plans are rated, from table rated to composite rates. These are things that small business owners, people who are offering group should be aware of.
Sure.
And with those changes, what we're really seeing is that more and more people are being negatively affected by the family glitch, which I think we've talked about before.
We have on some of the, but just briefly tell us about that again, because we have gone over it on other videos.
Correct. The family glitch is something that has affected anybody who has a employer-sponsored program. So if I summarize the family glitch, the way that it would work is if your employer is offering benefits to you as the employee, and those benefits are deemed affordable by the government. And affordable by the government means that the cost of your employee insurance is just you, not your whole family, just you, 9.5% of your income. As long as it's less than 9.5% for your cost of coverage, then your entire family does not qualify for a subsidy.
Right.
And this is our family glitch. So just a brief example is if you were a fireman, are you?
I'm not.
No.
When I was a kid, I really wanted to be one.
I put out fires all the time, so I'll get you a little hat. So if you were a fireman working for a municipality, your coverage is free. Okay, let's just use that as an example.
Right.
You're covered at 100%. But for you to add so let's say you have one child and a spouse, you want to add your child and spouse, let's say that coverage is $2,000 a month. Well, that's not very affordable. Would you agree?
Absolutely not.
Well, because it would be free to you as the municipality employee, the rest of your family does not qualify for a subsidy.
So their only option would be to go buy a standalone health plan.
They could buy a qualified health plan with no help from the government, or they really don't have any other options.
That's it. They're going to be paying a lot.
They're either going to be paying a lot one way or another. So if they go to the government's site and we do a qualified health plan, pay the full price. Or they can go on the group insurance with you as Mr. Fireman and then pay whatever that price is, the $2,000. Now typically that qualified health plan will be less expensive.
Right.
Now, however,
it might still be unaffordable.
It still may be unaffordable.
To the spouse, the child, two children, three. I mean,
right.
These are matters of fact in American life.
Absolutely. Now, when you look at how group rates are set, they're typically based upon 2.5 children, and what that means is that you pay the same price whether you have one child or 10.
Right.
So if you had the Brady Bunch at home, then you would want to take the group plan. However, in that example, if it's one child, you'd want to go to a qualified health plan with no subsidy. And most of the time that would be less expensive. But again, talking to a trusted advisor, going through those numbers, really looking at it, that's what you need to do.
Are we seeing a lot of that now?
Yeah, more and more of it,
okay.
Yes, yeah. Because group insurance is not affordable in many cases.
It's changing monthly.
Daily.
Daily.
It is. It's a daily kind of change.
Right.
So what we've really done is we are reaching out to chambers. We're reaching out to the small business community, and we want to talk to them about some solutions to avoid this family glitch. And we've got some plans in place to do so we're very excited about that.
Can you go into some specifics? What we're talking about? What if I'm a small business owner and I have 20 employees and my premiums it's unaffordable at this point. Right. I have got to do something, and I call you. Give me the broad strokes.
So basically what we do is we look at a few factors. So really the first factor is, why do you have the insurance? What is the purpose? Is it because you feel obligated to have it, because you want to do the right thing? Do you do it to acquire a better caliber of employee? So there's lots of different reasons why you would have that coverage in place.
And that's important to know the difference.
Very important. We also identify what the average employee income is. Okay. Now the reason why we want to do that is because if we can identify that your particular business, your employees would qualify for a subsidy, then we need to come up with another solution. Because as an employer, you need to understand that there's another person paying and helping subsidize those health plans, and that's the government.
Right.
Taking advantage of that is important to do it the proper way. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do it in a non-compliant fashion, but to do it in a compliant fashion, you have to really make sure that you're embracing a few IRS tax codes and being able to give those monies for insurance to your employees on a pre-tax and tax-favorable basis.
And I'm getting scared already because I'm a business owner and more tax implications to think about. But we've talked, and it's not really as bad as it sounds.
No.
It's simply a matter of sort of conforming to a system that has been in place for a while,
years
and years.
Nothing new.
And what sort of goes into that decision? Because I think you bring up a good point. I might have a moral obligation to my employees because they can't afford, or in the past have not been able to afford health. The group made sense. or I wanted to attract and keep better people. I think those are probably, 3 of the top reasons that people are doing. They're all well-meaning, and they're all their heart's in the right place.
But it gets expensive.
And it gets too expensive. But how do you make them feel good about the option you're talking about, a marketplace plan for the employees?
Choice.
Okay.
It's all about choice and flexibility. So you by putting your employees and offering that group plan, you may be hurting or limiting what they can do because your family can't get a subsidy at that point.
And certainly limiting choice, right?
The choice always. Because when you do a group style program, you are limited to the number of plans that you can offer, and that's based on the number of employees that are enrolling in the plan. But now with this option, what you'll allow your clients, or in my case our clients, or your employees to do, is really embrace any style policy that they would like. So what we were talking about earlier, when we were talking about what's good for mom may not be good for dad.
Okay, sure.
You may have an employee who has 6 children, and then you have a young guy who doesn't need any insurance, wants a high deductible plan because he's never going to use it anyway. Well, in the past, you couldn't have multiple options, or you may have 2 options. But with 20 people, you've got 20 different personalities, you've got 20 different needs bases.
Demographics, age group.
Demographics, age groups, just needs.
Right. You're describing every business in America.
Every business.
Everybody who has 20 employees is 20 different people.
Correct. And what this will allow them to do is we will allow them to have a contribution amount that the employer wants to make.
Okay.
The employer is already making a contribution towards all of his employees' benefits of a minimum of 50%. That's just the rules.
Right.
Okay. And we look at that dollar amount, and then we can decide on how we want to spend that to each one of the employees in different classes of employees, whether we're talking about management staff, or we're talking about sales staff, or administrative staff. We define that amount of money. We then allow our employees to go out to the marketplace and pick the plan that they want. And then we will reimburse them based on that set dollar amount that the employer picks. So it controls costs. So we don't have to worry about every year going through a renewal and, oh my goodness, the rates are going up and what's going on with this and what am I going to do and woe is me. Now it's up to the employee. So we put some of the ownership back on the employee to also pick and manage that plan that they want to have. And at the same time, we're not affecting their taxable income, because by giving them a contribution or paying a portion of their benefits, then we would effectively be raising their income, right?
Absolutely.
Well, then that would change their subsidy amount, so we're not affecting that either. So it's a very dynamic way of looking at it, and it works very well. Great success with it so far.
And you talk about, and this has been, we've had this in action for a little bit now.
Yes.
And how has it been in terms of implementation and just acceptance from employers that we've talked to?
Very well received. Employers love it because it really takes all of that confusion out of their hands. Their HR director doesn't have to worry about explaining benefits to someone or talking about X, Y, or Z. They have an agent to do that.
Right.
So if there's a problem, they go straight to the carrier. They're not taking away time from focus on work to deal with health insurance. Let us do what we do best, and that's health insurance, and let you do whatever it is that your business is doing and focus on that. So really giving the choice, giving the flexibility, as well as just really empowering your employees to get what they would like and making sure that they have access to quality health care. It's really important.
And what I've learned from talking to you is a defined contribution, huge for a business owner. They know what they are contributing to the healthcare benefit every month. And choice. They're able to, it's really every size fits all.
Correct.
I mean, they really can provide that.
And I want to correct you on one thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We can't really call it a defined contribution because it's not. It's a medical reimbursement.
Okay.
So it's just that anybody who's watching, just if as you're listening, it's a reimbursement for premiums. So a defined contribution would be I am defined contributing a set dollar amount to something. Even though it works that way, it is a reimbursement.
It's more control.
Correct, because the business owner is not reimbursing for something that is not in place.
Right.
So they have to prove that it was paid. There are some mechanisms there that they have to show that policy premium was paid in order for them to get that reimbursement from the employer.
And thirdly, it's the only way to allow your employees access to subsidies.
And the family.
And the family.
And the family. That's the big
Go back to the family glitch.
Correct.
Probably a lot of the motivation behind these great new ideas is people were throwing their arms up going, I've got a family and I don't know what to do. They're either going to have no health insurance, or they're going to have a qualified plan with no subsidy that I can't afford.
And with no health insurance, in this day and age, they're opening themselves up to a penalty. Not only the fact they can't access quality care, but additionally, they're going to get a penalty from the IRS at the end of the year when they pay their taxes. So it solves a lot of problems. We're very excited about it, and we really want to talk to everyone about it. So we hope that they call us and we can speak to them in detail.
And lastly, these plans are completely portable, right? I mean, it's their own plan with your company. There's no COBRA to worry about anymore. I mean, it really is a clean sort of way to do business in terms of human resources and employees, isn't it?
Correct. All the way around, it helps everyone that's involved. The employer, the employee. There are really no negative impacts. The only negative impact that someone could, pull out of it is that the employee has to pay the premium. So what would happen is if I had selected, if I worked for you and I was at a $200 a month premium and you were the employer, you were going to reimburse me $100 a month, I'd have to pay out the $200, you would reimburse me the $100. Now that reimbursement can be done on any pay cycle which you as an employer would like to use. So if you're paying bi-weekly or weekly, you can break it down weekly or bi-weekly, however you'd like to do it.
And payment to me seems like a very minor detail in terms of the overall bigger picture, which is lower premiums, increased benefits, more choice, portability.
Correct.
I mean, because COBRA can be as bad for the employee as it is bad for the employer.
Right, because you're paying for it. One way or the other, you're paying for it.
And this is that sense of security that we talk about.
Correct.
And it has a lasting effect. So, well, thanks a lot for this information.
No
it's been great, and we're really. Hope you watch the entire video and want to make sure that you call us.
There's a prize at the end if you watch the whole thing.
We have winning lotto numbers or something. I think at the end. I'm not sure.
Let me get them.
But we are really excited about the group initiative we've got going on. So please call us. All of our digital profile information is on the page right now, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.